Welcome to the Referrals Podcast, the show designed to help everyone from the solopreneur to the Fortune 500 company win the referral game. If you want to build a company with an army of ambassadors and raving fans who speak highly of you and refer you willingly, you are in the right place. And now, here is your host, Michael J. Maher.
Welcome back, everyone, and happy holidays to everyone. What are you doing listening to a podcast instead of spending the time with the family that you love during the holidays? Well, no, actually, I know the answer to that question. So you are hiding out right now. You are upstairs when everybody else is downstairs, or you're downstairs while everybody else is upstairs. You're taking a moment for yourself, or like a lot of the people that email us, you are on your morning walk, or you are doing your morning treadmill, or you are on a bike doing your little stationary bike and getting your workout and giving your brain a workout too. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, welcome back to Referrals Podcast. I have to give a big shout out today to Dave DeBryan. He was our Note-vember winner. Over 1,000 notes written, over 1,000 notes in 1 month. Just incredible. He's actually complimented us. He said, "Thank you for being a great friend and mentor." 10 years plus that he has done Note-vember with us here at ReferCo. It's gone by fast, but man, we've had a lot of success, and so much has been because of you. Happy Note-vember, Michael, and happy Note-vember to Dave. Last year, he got 67 referrals from his Note-vember notes. And I'm telling you, he's going to get even more this year. He's so referable. And then, listen, if you want more referrals, and that's as straightforward as I can get. If you want more referrals, check out Referral Mastery Academy. And you can go to referralmasteryacademy.com. In January, we are doing our 30 mornings class. This is one of our most popular classes, and it is essentially 30-day challenge. You get 30 days of coaching on building your ultimate morning ritual. And who doesn't need a better morning ritual to start the new year? You know, a better you, a better year, a better morning ritual. The bottom line is, if you own your morning, you'll own your life. Bottom line is I'm telling you, it's not about getting up earlier, though. It's about getting up better. And that's what we're teaching in 30 mornings. You can get access to that by just joining Referral Mastery Academy. Go to referralmasteryacademy.com. And I have to tell you, speaking of masters, today we have a very, very special guest with us. And Erin Torres is the president and joined Livian in 2016 after 10 years of leading digital marketing teams in the food, health, and K through 12 and higher education spaces. Having experience in both consumer and business-to-business markets, Erin is a leader who enjoys setting a strategic vision while also rolling up her sleeves to analyze and optimize systems, tools, and models on a daily basis. She is a graduate of Middlebury College with degrees in the history of art and architecture and psychology, and resides in Colchester, Vermont with her husband, Nick, and, love this, 3 rescue dogs. Erin, welcome to Referrals Podcast.
Thanks so much for having me, Michael, and for the warm introduction.
100%. And I'll tell you, today is all about leading yourself first. You know, it's one of those where, you know, we have this acronym within the Generosity Generation, which is first, love yourself. It's FLY. If you truly want to fly, then first love yourself. And something I say a lot is, you know, we're all one-winged angels. We can't truly soar until we partner with another. Well, to fly on our own first, we have to first love ourselves. We have to first lead ourselves. And what does it mean to you to lead yourself first?
It's a great question. And I would preface it by saying the organization that I'm leading right now, it's a real estate expansion team. We have 300 agents, 40 employees. We're in 22 different states. It's a big business. And I joined about 5 years ago. I was not in real estate prior to that point. And prior to coming into the real estate industry, no one ever talked about business being a conduit for your personal growth. And I'm very fortunate to work alongside a leader, Adam Hergenrother, who instilled in me that I need to grow personally before I'm going to be able to achieve anything professionally. And this is something, training and leading and mentoring and coaching agents on a regular basis, I need to remind them, as they can't pour from an empty cup. We in our business want to help others. Every agent who I talk to says, I want to make an impact in the lives of others. If we're not intrinsically impacting our own lives first and foremost, how are we going to better someone else? And I think also in this industry, when we give to others, we can neglect ourselves. So there are those times when we wake up and we're like, man, I'm not drinking my water. I'm not moving my body. I'm not getting sleep. I'm not reading. I'm not growing myself. And you have to question, why the heck am I doing what I'm doing if I want to have an impact and I can't even impact myself? And that's when our relationships start to fall apart. I think a lot of us in this industry have experienced that, where we're so committed to our clients and so committed to the business that we're not prioritizing ourselves. We're not prioritizing our partners. So when it comes to leading ourselves first, it's how are you structuring your day so that you're actively engaged in business and you're also strategically disengaged. So that might mean I'm going for a walk 2 times a day. One of the things that I find is walking and talking, I'm so much more articulate and I have so much better thoughts when I'm coaching. It's an amazing little thing, right? But leading yourself first is having those conversations around what content are you digesting? What podcasts are you listening to? How many books are you, reading on a daily basis or yearly basis, whatever that might be. It's about
how many podcasts are you listening to? What really good podcasts are you listening to? That would be a good one for all of our listeners here today.
No, of course. And one of the things that I do to make sure that I'm leading myself, because I woke up and, I think we all struggle with imposter syndrome sometimes, thinking, all right, if I can't be the best version of myself, how am I going to lead this massive organization? So I have a goal spreadsheet that I bring up every single morning. I look at my income goals. I look at my water intake goals. I look at my fitness goals. How many miles am I walking every week? How much water am I drinking every day? How many podcasts am I listening to? How many books am I reading? I look at that every single day, in addition to stepping on the scale and looking at my bank accounts. And that's how I lead myself, because I can find the gaps and figure out, where do I need to be better? And where do I need to actually create space for myself so that I can be better for everyone around me?
Yeah, I love that. And so are your goals, I know you look at them daily, but are they yearly goals? Are they quarterly goals? Are they monthly goals? How do you set your goals?
Yeah, I set yearly goals for myself. So I have this spreadsheet. I break it down into different income sources that I have for myself, the books that I want to read, books maybe that I didn't read last year that I want to carry over, trips that I want to go on, how much I want to save in my tax savings account, my vacations account, my savings account. I have all of those yearly. I update all of them anytime I have income coming in. I also keep my real estate pipeline in that spreadsheet. I do sell not a ton of homes, but probably 25 a year. Most of those are from referrals and from Instagram.
Right.
And I look at that every single day, but they are yearly goals. And, there's a lot of conversation around whether or not that's the right approach. For me, I always set an intention for 1 year, knowing that I can't do very many things all at once. I don't think many of us can. Where if I set so many goals for myself, and I used to do this, I used to have the goal of saving, $52,000 in this bucket, losing 52 pounds, reading 52 books, writing 52 blogs. And I would get like 20% to each of those goals and be like, man, I'm failing myself. And instead I made the commitment of, okay, this past year was all about finances. I'm going to read all the financial books I can read. I'm going to, create the savings account and the investments that I need for myself. This coming year in 2022, it's wellness. I need to dive into how I can lead myself there, because I know that if I'm pouring into myself, I'm going to be the best leader around for those around me.
It's interesting that you used finance and wellness as your 2 examples, because, there's the old adage is that we use our health to earn our wealth early in life, and then we spend all our wealth to get our health back late in life. And it's like, that's such a great reminder to not be that way, to make sure that we're focusing on health and wealth all the time, and every year and every day and every month, and setting our goals around, what we really can focus on. You can't focus on like 17 different things at once. Right. So it's really, what is that one thing that's driving us? What are the 7, things around our life that we can really focus on at one time? And, you've come up with some ways to kind of I mean, mastery is an interesting concept because mastery is my word for life. My license plate on my car is mastery, Mastery. So that's my word for life. And the thing about mastery is that you have to master the boredom. You have to be okay with the tedious. You have to be okay with the boring or mastering the little things, you know. And too many people, their results don't come because their action doesn't outlast their enthusiasm. Right? It's easy to start something with, I mean, you look at weight loss every year, right? Every year in January and February, you know, people, you know, go and they're like, you know, at the end of the month, they're like, I didn't lose 32 pounds, so I'm just going to give up. You know, where, you know what? They could lose 32 pounds by the end of the year if they just stayed with it. We've got to master the crap. You know, we got to really master the boredom. You've really got some tips on how do you master the boredom around one of the most powerful things, which is lead generation, you know, getting leads in, because without a sale, no business even has any business doing business. So, you know, all things start with a sale. So how do we get more leads and how do we master the boredom of lead generation?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things is actually making a decision and deciding that you're going to focus on what matters the most and not the shiny objects. Mm-hmm. In our organization, there were years, you know, probably my first or second year in the business where we kept thinking, okay, we have to add more. We have to do more. What is this shiny object, this tool, this system? And we realized when we started stripping those away, because none of them were making an impact, by the way, mm-hmm. that it came back to talking to people, forming relationships, developing rapport, all of the simple things. So at that point, we went back and said, okay, how do we help our agents decide that they're going to prospect every single day and become structured and disciplined around that habit? And for us, it was prescription action plans, and also the thought that, okay, I can give agents all the tools, I can give them all the gym equipment, but they have to get on the treadmill and run themselves. Mm-hmm. You have to pick up the phone, make the calls, have the conversations. The same thing, if somebody said to me, Erin, go to the gym for 3 hours, I'm going to say, whew, I can't do that. But if somebody says, go to the gym for 30 minutes, that's all that it takes every day to develop that habit, I can do it. I can go, I know I can do that. So we used to have something called the 15-3-1 that we used to talk to our agents about. 15 minutes of conversations, role play, script practice, 3 hours of prospecting and follow-up with the goal of setting 1 appointment a day. And so many agents couldn't do the 3 hours mm-hmm. because it seems like it's so daunting. Studies, and there's so much research that shows that if we just prospect for 7 hours a week, 1 hour a day, our pipelines are going to be full. It comes down to mastering the boredom, but then also realizing that I need to be extremely efficient and purposeful with that time, where I'm not going to have all kinds of distractions. Because I think one of the things that we as agents fail with is thinking, oh my gosh, I just worked an 8-hour day, but I didn't get anything accomplished. Mm-hmm. Well, you're not being purposeful, you're not being efficient, and you're not actually getting the results that you crave and that you need to get that sale. Because bringing it back to leading yourself, you're not actually committing to that 60 minutes. You know, we all have 1,000 opportunity minutes in a day. So if I ask you to take 60 of them and make calls, have conversations, do your follow-up, it's easy. But we fight what's easy because we're not disciplined and structured enough to actually make the habit of it.
So true. You know, we talk about the hour of power, right? And we talk about, like, you know, prospecting for an hour and how powerful that an hour can be. But even breaking it down to, I have these 7 things that matter most. And one of those things that I talk about is minutes matter. Minutes, like what you do in minutes matter. Look at what you do in minutes, don't look at the hours. That's something like in 30 mornings, I talked about it earlier, is in 30 mornings, the goal is by the end of 30 days, they're getting up an hour earlier, right? But we don't come in and if you get up an hour earlier than the rest of your family and you give yourself a head start on the day, you're probably going to win the day because you gave yourself an hour head start. Well, what we do is we start the class. The first day is the regular time that they usually get up. The next week it's 15 minutes earlier. The next week it's 30 minutes earlier than the original time, but it's only 15 minutes earlier than next week. Well, by the end of 30 days, they're getting up an hour earlier, but we did it 15 minutes a week. They don't even notice it. they don't even realize, and sometimes when they do realize, they go into a little bit of success suicide, like, oh crap, this is actually working. I got to sabotage myself. So it's one of those where, you've really honed in on the minutes matter is you used to do, like you said, the 15-3-1, and it's like, maybe it's just 15-15-1, right? It's like 15 minutes of practice, 15 minutes of calls, and maybe you get one appointment, or maybe you just get one call done and you've done enough. 1 hour of lead generation a week is better than zero, So I love what you did there. I love the prescription for action too. I love that. And then, we do have 1,000 opportunity minutes during the day. What are we doing with that?
The release of 7L in 2010 sparked a movement among business owners. Industry-changing Catalyst coaching, Referrals podcast, and annual summits were created as a result. And now we're excited to introduce the Referral Mastery Academy, the online university for everyone in Gen. When on the Academy campus, head over to the library, get your library card, and browse all of our free resources. Everything at the library is free. Or you can enroll as a student and have access to the library, plus all of our on-demand courses, where you can learn and implement at your own pace. Buy one course at a time. Finally, you have the option to go all in and join the Academy. Academy members get access to all of the on-demand courses, the library, and monthly live classes and challenges. Academy members pay $99 per month and have access to everything. Check it out today at referralmasteryacademy.com.
How does time management come into leading themselves first? How do we lead ourselves first with the concept of time management? How do those two come together?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is using your calendar, working in bursts, and putting every single thing on your calendar. I used to be the person, even I would say 3-4 years ago, where I never used to follow time blocks. I thought time blocking was kind of a myth and a lie. And then I got to the point where my schedule was so unwieldy that if literally it wasn't on my calendar, it wasn't going to get done, because I lost capacity in my mind to keep track of everything. And I always thought, oh, the capacity in my head is so good. Well, no. So now I kind of make a game out of it where I put every single thing in my calendar. I block out, as you're talking about, minutes, every minute in my day, from the point that I wake up at 5:30 until when I go to bed at 9 o'clock. And I know that when I finish my work day, usually around 4:30, and then I can get into the good stuff for my day, the stuff that I'm actually pouring into myself, I've achieved everything I need to achieve. I've crossed everything off my list so that I can go to bed with a clear head. I can be present for my family. I'm not being pulled in a million other directions. It's absolute freedom, I would say. And I always thought that being so structured and rigid, it's actually the opposite. But no, when I achieve what I need to achieve, I'm free to go live my life and enjoy, because I've done everything that I needed to achieve in a given day.
I'll tell you, that's a drop the mic moment. I hope that everybody listened to the last 30 seconds of this and take it to heart, because everybody listening to this, what's your biggest challenge right now? What's your biggest problem right now? What's the biggest issue in your life right now? Whatever it is can be solved through time management, and especially time blocking, right? The reason you have that problem is because you haven't blocked enough time off for whatever that is previously. So guess what? The solution is your future time blocking. The cool thing about time blocking, you would talk about freedom. That's the thing, right? Everybody's like, well, I don't want to give up my freedom. I don't want to give up my, well, you don't have any freedom. Unfortunately, you're a prisoner of reactivity, right? So it's one of those where it's I love what you said, that it is so freeing, because it really is. It frees your mind from, am I forgetting something? Or, you know what? Some things just don't make the priority list, and you want to try to do everything, but we can't do everything. But you know what we can do is we can do a few things really, really well. And the only way to make sure those get done is on the schedule. It's so funny you say that. Is a real quick, easy key for people is, what do you do about email? So my evolution of email has been reactivity, for sure. Doing it really late at night, really early morning, or doing it when I can, or doing it all the time and not getting anything else done. 2, where I would block off time in my schedule for check email and reply to everything, do everything, whatever it was, do it. If it had to make a decision, make a decision. And then It's to where it's on the schedule. Like, so, and I mean, not the emails, somebody else reads my emails. And then they put, if I need to review something, a logo or a book or whatever it may be, it's in the schedule, review this, and in the description is whatever I need to review. So it's on my schedule. There is no reactive moments, right? And you might be thinking, well, doesn't that make you like lack spontaneity? Well, no, maybe a little bit, but who cares? I'll take what I get in productivity over spontaneity anytime, right? So that's
actually it allows you to be a lot more spontaneous in those hours when you're not working. For me, probably like 4:35 until I go to bed, because I'm not having to check in. I'm not thinking, oh shoot, I forgot about this, I need to go do that, right? I'm the same way, where any task that needs to get done, I have to put it on my calendar or it's not going to get done. I'm not going to be able to move the needle forward. And if it is on my calendar, I know it's a priority. It's kind of like people say, if you want to know what somebody's priorities are, check their bank account. I think it's check your calendar.
Yeah, 100%. The thing that you just said that I love is so true, is that what I've given up in spontaneity, I've gotten back in presence.
Yes.
And I mean presence, focus. Like when I'm at my son's game, I'm not thinking about anything else. I can be 100% there to cheer on my son, love on my son. And it's the same in anything I do, because I'm not worried about all the other things that aren't getting done, because they either aren't getting done on purpose or they are going to get done because they're in my schedule. And it's one of those where I think everybody needs to look at, what are you worried about? Like, what are you worried about? What are you worried about? And then put it on your schedule. So you worried about like finances, then what leads to finances? Probably leads and referrals. So do you have time in your schedule to generate leads, to generate referrals? If not, then you need to, right? So it's like, what are you worried about? I mean, all the time. It's like, what are you worried about? What do you need to do why are you not focusing on what you have at hand? Write it down, put it in your schedule. Everything. I love that.
So many people too avoid the hard things for instant gratification.
Yeah.
And they start with the stuff that doesn't matter. And then they get to the end of the day, they're worn out, they're tired, and they haven't made any progress because they haven't actually just taken action on what they actually need to do. And I think that's the biggest thing, that agents need to feel like, okay, I'm making some kind of progress. Where if you put that hard thing on your calendar first thing, when you're best in the day, when you're freshest, get it done, the rest of the day is going to be so easy. Again, these are so easy, such easy fundamental things. I don't know.
They're easy for us. They're easy for us because we've conquered the challenge, right? I think it's hard for anybody who has 1,000 excuses. I'm a single mom, right? That's an excuse. It really is. Yeah. Is it hard? Freak, yeah, it's hard. I mean, I have enough trouble with one kid with a spouse, let alone having 2 kids, no spouse. But you know what? I know super ultra productive single moms. Yeah. I know super ultra productive single dads. I know disabled people who are super productive. So it's like, all right, Nick Santonastaso has been a guest. Adam Hergenrother has been a guest on here a ton. Like, it's one of those where, like, listen, we all have the same amount of time. It's get with it, get with it. It's one of those where now is the time for everybody to just like make that New Year's resolution stick this year. And the New Year's resolution is that you're going to use your calendar as your focus. Like, you're going to work from your calendar is going to be your boss. The problem in real estate is that you're your own boss. But the problem with real estate is your boss is freaking crazy. That's the problem. So it's one of those where, all right, how do we take the crazy boss and trade it for a good boss? We're going to make our calendar our boss. I don't run the day. My calendar runs the day. My calendar said, I've got an appointment with Erin Torres. I'm like, Pavlov's dog, right? Okay, I'm going. So here I was. I made the appointment, and here we are now delivering a ton of value, right? And then I'll get another update in about an hour, and I'll get another update in 15 minutes. I'll get, so it's like, the phone is powerful if we know how to use it. The calendar is powerful if we know how to use it. So what other tips can you pass on? And I'm giving you like the whole chalkboard, right? The whiteboard's empty, Yeah. So, what other tips can you pass on about leading yourself first love yourself, time management, time blocking, run your day through a calendar?
Yeah, there are a few things there. I think you have to really get clear with yourself on what your goals are. And your goals for you intrinsically, maybe your family's goals, maybe your partner's goals, but you have to know what matters to you most. And we do an exercise in our world, which I'm happy to share. It's the future self, where we look at 6 different facets of our lives and we predict out a year, 3 years, where we want to be. I've done that exercise now twice in 6 years, and almost everything's come true on that because I look at it every day. I review it every day. I'm making sure, though, that those goals are truly aligned with who I am. I think oftentimes we think, oh, I should do this because either society is telling me or someone put the idea in my head. If it doesn't actually matter to you, you're not going to do it. Mm-hmm. I think that equates to lead generation as well. So we always tell our agents, find something that you enjoy. If you love working with other agents and connecting, go the route of referrals all day long. For me, I love celebrating Vermont where I live, and I have a travel blog and a successful Instagram account, and I get a ton of leads through that. It's generating local content, but I love to do it. It's not work.
You do it anyway, let alone getting the leads, right? The
leads were just an added benefit. I never started it because I was like, oh, I want to do this to get real estate leads, but no, but I do it because it brings me joy. So if you can find those lead generation levers that you truly get up every morning excited to do, it's going to make you that much more successful in having those conversations.
Yep.
I also think, getting clear with your partner. This is something that I always hear is, my partner doesn't understand how much I have to work, what I need to do. I think getting clear on setting boundaries, communicating expectations. If you know you're going to be having to work some nights, say, you know what, I know that I'm going to have to work Wednesday and Thursday this night, but I'm going to take Saturday off to be present with you.
There you go.
Right? It's the trade-offs, but it's the communication around when you do need to work. And also, again, relying on that calendar to say, if I'm working all day long, I don't have to work nights and weekends. There are alternatives. So it's, again, making that decision for yourself of what kind of boundaries do you want to put in life to also protect the life that you're creating for yourself.
Yeah, 100%. Love that. And then sticking with, you say that you're going to go with your partner on Saturday night, you damn well make that appointment with your partner on Saturday night and not get a $500,000 or $1 million buyer sale call where it's like, here's I'm going to give the script of the day for today's Referrals podcast is, no, I have an appointment with another client at that time. When somebody says, hey, can you show houses Friday night at 6:30 and you've got date night Friday night, you have an appointment with another client. And by the way, your first most important client, your number one client is yourself. Remember that. The number one client you have to serve is yourself. The number two client that you have to serve is your family. So keep that in mind when you are making your schedule, and be ready, tip of tongue with, I can't make that appointment, I can't make that time because I've already got an appointment with another client. If it's a workout, you have an appointment with your client, which is you. If it's a date night or a game, it's like you've already got an appointment with a client and the client is your family. You don't have to say family. The only thing clients understand or potential clients understand is that you're meeting with other clients. That's all they understand. They don't understand family. They don't understand free time. They don't understand relaxation. They don't understand ski time. They're so confused, right? So I love that. This is so good. So any final words of wisdom for our listeners or viewers today on Referrals Podcast?
Yeah, I would say the biggest thing is finding those gaps of where you need to improve. Like for me, I used to be terrified of looking at my bank account. I used to be terrified of stepping on the scale, all those different things that were really holding me back. And when I decided, I made the decision that, okay, I need to change areas of my life. I need to see the data. I need to see where I can improve. And when I really started deciding that actually being disciplined and structure is the most freedom I can achieve, my life changed for the better. I think often we get into this business for the freedom, the flexibility, right? And we can have ultimate flexibility and we can have ultimate freedom if we are efficient, if we are purposeful, if we're measuring the day in minutes and truly being present where we need to be present in the moment. I love what you said too about how your calendar gives you presence. And that's something I've always struggled with, where I always felt like I had to have something to look forward to. And I would always be striving for something else. And I would say in the past year or two, I finally got to a place where I'm happy and comfortable and joy filled where I am. But it came from a lot of inner work and working on myself. And again, I'm glad to have a leader who talks to me more about what I'm doing personally than even professionally. knowing that one thing will come from the other.
100%. And Hergy is one of the best leaders. And a lot of people would maybe put some type of suffix on the end of that, like in real estate or in the real estate business or whatever it may be. And it's just, no, Adam Hergenrother is just a great leader, period.
Sure
And he's growing leaders like yourself. And that's what I love about this interview is, Hergy's been on a couple of times and he's a fan favorite. He's been on the Daily Dose and, people really love his positivity and productivity. And that's what we promote here at Referrals Podcast and the Generosity Generation. And, it's one of those where this has been a really good interview for me because it's almost, don't tell Hergy this, but it's almost like you're Hergy's daughter, right? and it's like he's growing these sons and daughters that are great leaders as well. And his work's not done with you, but your work's not done with you either. And I tell you, today's been just an absolute joy, and I've really enjoyed it. And I really, really appreciate you being a guest here today on Referrals Podcast.
Thanks so much. I am grateful for you having me and having the conversation.
Awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, that's a wrap. And if you are not pulling out your calendar for next month or trying to figure out how to set recurring meetings on your phone, then guess what? You're not doing it right. Make sure that you take time for yourself first. Lead yourself first, then you can lead others. First, love yourself. It's really hard to love others if you don't love yourself first. Love yourself, love on yourself. Make sure that you learn how to say no appropriately and with power and with conviction, knowing that that no is leading something better in the future. I'm telling you, today with Erin Torres was just fantastic. Lead yourself first. I'll see you next time on Referrals Podcast.